I've done everything from list of business on the New York Stock Exchange when I was running our life company over there. I've done mergers and divestments, not as a finance accounting, but from an operational point of view, either disentangling the spaghetti or mashing it together. And I've done a lot of projects around service transformation and around org design, org restructuring. Today's title, An Executive's View of Engagement. I'm glad it said "an" because it's just me. And I can always guarantee that anything I say this morning, you'll know an executive who's totally different. Because we are. And so it's one person's view. It's not a training course, so don't put it down as gospel. My first principle is, I guess, know your audience, know your executive. The good project leaders that I've worked with absolutely have insight, whether it's NLP or a registered psychologist or what background, but they've got inside the exec's brain and behaviour. Part of that also is, are they a big picture person or are they into the detail? I've been lucky enough to work with people that are, okay, on page 97 on the third column from the right, I read the report and I think that decimal place is wrong. Yes, boss. Through to, just give me the 1 minute. I don't care about all this crap. Just tell me. That spectrum makes a big difference as to how you engage with them, but you've got to understand the way they take it. We did a strategic review of all the businesses. Classic, McKinsey stuff. At the end of the presentation, the chairman said, "That was the best strategic presentation I have seen. This is the most important milestone." That was pretty good, thank you. So 2 board meetings later, I go back with, okay, so here's the detailed roadmap. We've appointed merchant banks to sell this. We've set a project team. The presentation was just as good, and I just didn't get. It's like I'm hitting a brick wall. Their priority had gone from, we need a strategy, to, why the hell are you wasting our time in the boardroom today, young man? I found out later that afternoon that was the day they'd sacked the CEO. At the board meeting. So my little, we want to spend 50 million didn't really count. But not only contextually, not only about today is this the most important thing, but overall. It's got to be your most important project. Because if you don't believe in it, and you don't think it's mission critical and got to happen, then no one else is going to do it. So know your audience. Get inside their head. The second point is about communication, and I think every company now has has some sort of project management reporting. My horrible recommendation is, in most companies, it is what it is. Do it their way. You may not like it, it might be inefficient, it might be a waste of your time. You know what? Someone somewhere is going to demand that you do the process and communicate the way they want you to. I have fought that in every company I've been in and told them how they should do it, and I've lost every time.
We tend to find if we can use our execs, not just the guy at the end who's going to sign it off, but the guys all along the value chain who are going to help and try to line some of these guys up to knock over these backroom guys. But like you say, Ron, it's more about picking your battles.
That's right.
So using some of these execs, because they are kind of useful in clearing away roadblocks.
Can we invite that one, please?
Yeah.
Execs are kind of useful.
Well, employed in the right way, they can reduce your roadblocks rather than causing more of them. Yeah. So I guess it's about lining them up and doing as much work outside of the room.
Exactly.
So that when you do get in the room, that you pass it on the first part.
If you've done those first couple of steps, knowing your executive, you can actually find out what they want. Yeah. So you can supplement the policy type documents with something that's meaningful for them.
Yep.
And if you do that and they find value in it, then it may become policy later on because you've added value in terms of getting the information across in a meaningful way.
Yep. So as an exec, I far prefer constant, frequent updates and involvement than the formal monthly.
So have you ever had situations where people have actually told you to back off? Because a lot of project leaders actually, they like the informal, they like, they have the structured catch-ups, but then they actually want to get on and lead their project programs and work.
You've got to have that distance, but my preference is for just frequent informal, how's it going, what you do, and then you can weave in. So, you know, is Johnny feeling better this morning? You know, and did you fix that major glitch that? So you can put the two together, and it's a lot better as a dialogue than agenda item number one. The exec is not going to be, or shouldn't need to be, as committed, passionate, focused, involved, and that's a reality. It's a reality of owning a project. It's yours, and that's good. If you're good at it, that should give them confidence not to be involved. But I've seen way too many project managers go, oh, if only she'd listen to me and give me more time. She's running a $2 billion business and your project's worth 120 grand. Which bit of that don't you get? You are rounding error in her life. You know, it's like, but if you get that, turn it into a positive. This is mine. It may only be a $10,000 project. You know what? It's my $10,000 project and I'm going to get into it the best I can. My third principle is around add value, and a view that I have, again, just mine, being on time, on budget, delivering the project's your day job. It's Buddy Franklin with a football within the 50-metre arc. Of course he got a goal. It's his day job. There's no heroism about being on time, on budget and delivering what you said you were going to do. The added value is around, if I'm the sponsor or the exec, it's the intangible stuff. And I've put on the list there, political landscape. And politics is real. No matter whether you like it, love it, hate it, you've got to understand why things do and don't happen. And it's not about, were we on time and on budget? Your sponsor will be aware, or your exec that you're dealing with will be aware of a lot of this stuff, but they won't be at a practical level. The more pre-entry insight they can have, the more you can work together to take away those roadblocks. And there's always going to be them. Options, not problems. There's a hiccup. There's a setback. There's a challenge. There's a delay. There's an overrun. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding. We've got a glitch. Having a bit of a difficulty. There's been a snag. It doesn't matter what you do with the thesaurus. You're going to have stuff that hits the fan. So my approach, both as the recipient and the deliverer, is we have a problem. We have a insert thesaurus word here. Go to them with we. If you go in going, I've got a problem, you're basically not sharing. You know, if you're working together with the exec, we have a problem. Now that doesn't in any way give you a chance to get off the hook. We have a problem, what are you doing about it? Go to them with options. We have a challenge, problem, issue, glitch, hiccup, whatever you think best describes it. And here are the three things I've thought about. And if you genuinely have got no way out, then turn it into some flattery somehow. We have a problem and I just can't solve it, but I know you can. You know how you always say, come to me when you need help? Well, guess what? I'm actually going to hold you to that for once in your life. But use we. You know, I'm sure some of you have worked for sponsors or execs that don't necessarily stand up for things they should. You know, that not everybody has a spine at the right time. That accountability thing I've seen work really, really well for people's career, and I've actually had it work well for me, where you stand up and go, I am accountable for going wrong, and they'll go, no, you're not. It actually works for you. Yes. And my last one is, I think pretty much everything we've covered, or I've covered this morning, has been on the soft stuff. Right? It's not around governance and structure and whatever. How many of you know someone that has led a project, either an exec that's owned it or a project manager that has led the biggest disaster and got a promotion? Perception is reality. If you're doing all the things we've talked about this morning, great relationship, communicating well, managing the soft side, looking after it from a business perspective, being the owner, taking accountability, at the end of the day, your performance will be judged on those things as much as that baseline, did it deliver on time, on budget, and did it do what we said it was going to do? And I have seen so many people on the other side of the coin where there has been a reason totally outside their control. It might have been regulatory, it might have been political, it might have been whatever. There was no way they could ever have delivered against the criteria on that project. And they get crucified. Rather than, yeah, I'm aware of what was going on. I understood the politics in the background. I understood the constraints. You told me all the way along, if we didn't do this biggest priority, I got it. Okay, how can I use your great skills on our next project, which won't be a disaster? I'm not suggesting you don't have to hit your objectives. That's your day job. But the soft stuff and the relationship and how you manage your executive is how they're going to get that extra bit.